Hi, I'm Thompson and I'm with Crowd Reviews. In this video, I'll be concentrating on the camera of the LG G2. Now, smartphone cameras have been getting a lot of attention lately and have improved an unbelievable amount in a very short period of time. And LG has not been lying idly around while this happened. Now, LG has jumped out of the megapixel race and have been sticking with the same 13 megapixel that are on the last generation, the Optimus G. But that doesn't mean they haven't improved the camera, because indeed they have. They have just done it on other technologies, such as optical image stabilization and autofocus, which in the LG G2 has 9 autofocus points. The LG has a very good camera, and I will say it upright in the start of this video, and it is easily one of the best cameras, if not the best camera, in the Android space, and competes with other platforms too. Now, it's all fine and dandy to be talking a great deal about the hardware, that this has 13 megapixels, it has optical image stabilization and 9 autofocus points, but that doesn't really translate into real world image quality. What will you get out of this device? So I've been out taking some different samples for you to look at some different scenarios. All sample photos that I have taken here has been taken with the Intelligent Auto mode, which is great and does a really good job at choosing the settings for you and which mode it should be in. If you feel like messing around with settings yourself, you can put it in normal mode, but sadly it doesn't let you choose things as shutter speed or aperture. LG has also made a good deal of customization to the camera software delivered with the device. On the right of the UI, you'll find the video image switch, the shutter button and thumbnail and link to last image taken. On the left side houses the flash on-off auto button, switch camera from the front and the back, the mode selection and settings. Now, LG has included 12 modes for the camera, and that is, let's go in here, it's normal, it's shoot and clear, which makes it possible to remove some objects from the photo. We got HDR, dynamic tone, panorama, and we got VR panorama, which is a 360-degree panorama. We got burst shots, takes a lot of shots. We got a beauty shot, and which kind of brightens and smoothens facial skins. We got a dual camera that takes a photo with both the main camera and the front-facing camera, so you can take a picture of yourself also, and it comes in this little box. We've got a time catch shot, which activates the camera all the time, and then when you press the shutter button, it saves the last, I don't know, second or something like that. And probably not second, but it saves a couple of shots from before you push the shutter button, and you can then pick which one you want, and in this way you can capture, sudden motives, so you don't miss anything. Intelligent Auto mode, which is the mode that I have used the most, because it just sets the settings pretty well, and it sets it by itself. You can't mess about with anything in that. We got sports and we got nights, which is kind of self-explanatory. As mentioned, the Intelligent Auto works pretty well, and is generally the mode I use when I use a phone to take a photo. It normally means I just want to take a quick but nice quality photo, and Intelligent Auto helps with this without the need for me to mess around with any settings. But if you want to control the settings for the photo yourself, you can do that by using the normal mode, and you gain access to in all 11 different settings that have, some of them has effect to image quality and some of them don't. You have cheese shutter, which means that you can take a photo with voice commands like cheese, smile, whiskey, kimchi, and LG, I believe, is the supported voice commands. You've got some brightness that says the exposure level. You got focus, where you can actually do manual focus, which is great for photography because you can then set it to the closest, or you can set it to infinity, but it makes a great tool for taking some beautiful photographs of flowers and all these macro stuff. Furthermore, you get, of course, the image size, which is the resolution of the image, where you have the 13 megapixel, which is 4:3, and you got a 10 megapixel if it is wide. I suggest you just take it in 13, unless you want to share it directly from the device and you want that wide aspect ratio. Also, if you take it by 13, you can always just crop off to get the widescreen effect if you want it. But that's up to you, of course. I just want to tell you that's different there. You got the ISO. This is kind of a brightness, how sharp and stuff thing. You know it or you don't know it. If you don't know, just set it to auto. It does it really well. But if you do know, you can mess around with that. You got the white balance. You got your color effect. You got a timer where you can set it to have a delay for when it takes a picture, so you can get on it yourself if you have to post somewhere. You got some geotagging that uses GPS so you can see where the picture have been taken in the future. And you also have some shutter sound. You have 4 to choose from, but you can't take it off, which is a shame. But if the phone is silent, it doesn't make a shutter sound, so you can take it off that way. You can decide what the volume key does, if they should capture or if it should zoom, and so some help and reset. And as you might think, the volume buttons as camera buttons can be a bit weird. It works well if you do some selfies, because then you have the shutter button on the right side, and it kind of works well also if you're doing portrait shots. But if you're doing landscape shots, it's sort of an awkward way to hold the device to take a picture, where if you do it portrait and you hold it like this, it actually makes sense. But as I said, suddenly there is no option for controlling the shutter time or the aperture manually, and that is really a shame, as you have the manual focus. If you had both the manual focus and you could set some shutter time and aperture, you could really do some great things with this camera if you if you're into photography. And LG has also added some modes from which you can record video here, and there are a total of 4 different. With the normal, it's just normal video taking, and you have some live effect where you can choose to have a bigger nose or smaller eyes or stuff like that. You have the dual recording, which again is like the still. It records both the front and the back camera at the same time, and you have a little box where the front camera is shown, or you can tap it and you can switch around and stuff like that. So you have mainly the front facing shown as the big picture, and you can have the back shown as the little picture. If you're for example are doing some video chat, I guess. No, I don't know if you can do it in video chat. But if you want to send a little greeting to someone and you have kids, you might want to be talking to them but showing the kids as well, or the other way around, mostly the kids, and then have your face in the corner saying something. And then you have tracking zoom, which is a bit different. You set a magnifying glass that says there, and you choose your magnifying glass here to what you want to be bigger, and it then shows it in this little box, which is a fun feature. But I don't find it quite that useful, because the quality of the zoom in is of course not that great again on these cameras where it is just digital zoom. And also you have some settings which differ a bit. Oh, let's get over to, and they differ a bit because you have the audio zoom where you can zoom in to some target or what you want, and it should try to increase the sound of what you are zoomed in at, what you choose. But I haven't really gotten it to work that well without other sounds that are close to the camera getting terrible distorted. So, but I haven't spent that much time with the feature. And of course you have the video size, and I prefer shooting in 30 frames per second still, because I do a lot of YouTube, and if I want my videos up there, it's 30 frames per second anyway, and it's the frames per second that people are used to, but you can do it in 60 frames, which is amazing. And you of course can play around with 60 frames per second to decrease the speed of the playback. Well, in other settings you have the brightness, exposure, white balance, you have some color effects, you have the geotagging, and again you can choose what the volume keys does record. It's a bit better than record with the volume keys when it's video, because it's only that one time and then it's go, so you can easily handle it with one hand. But as you may have been able to tell from this video, I'm fairly impressed with the shots that this and the photos and video that this device is capable of doing. And as kind of an experiment, what I have done with this video is that I've actually shot it with an LG G2, because I have two. So that right there, that is recording, there is an LG G2. So you have a grasp of the video quality that this device can handle too, because this is it. The audio is done externally. I just want to have that disclaimer on there. It's not the regular audio, but we can take a sample, and this should be the normal audio. I know it's about the device is about a foot away from my head, and this is how it records me. So you got that with you too. And that was all I had to say about the camera at this moment. It's a great camera, and it really does provide an amazing alternative to a point-and-shoot camera. And I would be confident to use this as my only point-and-shoot camera on holiday or vacation or something like that. So then again, it's a great camera. This is from the LG G2, and my name was Thompson, and I'm with Crud Reviews. If you have any questions about the camera that I hadn't answered in this video, feel free to leave a comment, down there below the like button, and I will answer it as I best can, or maybe somebody else will answer it. Maybe your question is so good, I'll make a video about it. Peace.